Okay, we should be live here. Update titles. And I'll flip the screen over in a second. Let me set category. Okay, good enough. Stream. Okay. Um, I think we're good to start. So, let me explain what is going on at the moment, yes? I came up with a cool project idea for off-policy correction. I sort of pulled at that thread a bit. I found a major issue with core PPO. Pretty large discovery with the way it plays with momentum. It's even worse with Muon. I threw a bunch of stupid codecs at it. Codex is really dumb. I figured out enough to figure out like exactly more precisely the steps I need to take to know what's going wrong. I'm doing this in a much tighter loop with Grok now because it's faster, and this is mostly me steering. So let's figure this out. Let me remember where I was with this as well. Remember where we were. Right, so we were basically trying to figure out the loss was destabilizing very quickly, and we were trying to figure out the relative causes of that. So it was looking at scaling value and policy loss separately. Head grad scale as expected. Okay. Okay, so the clip frac does jump based on the policy grad coefficient. So I think movement was mostly just being driven through the value head. Interesting. What would the alternative be here? Let me think about this. So we were doing this based on policy clip. Does that make sense? Why would we do it based on policy clip? Oh, I'm just not taking into account the value clip at all, am I? Okay. Let me think what the correct way to do this is then. Accumulation of momentum is fine. The application and decay of momentum, right? How do you want to apply? That's actually very weird, isn't it? With two heads like that. Yeah, that's very weird. Um, well, why? Wait a second. Why is it weird? It's just weird because we're summing gradients, right? Okay, I think I see the issue. That would explain it. Possibly we can compute that efficiently. For now, we just need to sort it out, though. Entropy is already disabled, so we can ignore that. Hello, Jess. We are doing some core algorithm work right now. I just started. Tips for us to estimate how many steps is good or bad. I feel like a lot of my experiments only start showing results after two. I mean, you shouldn't have to think about that because you should just be able to run protein. Like, the classic experiment thing with RL, okay, is that your ends are really slow and experiments are really long. So you end up having to have this mental model of like, what's the probability this experiment is worth continuing, yada yada, and it's really annoying and it takes up a lot of your mental bandwidth. Um, the cool thing with Puffer is if your experiments are just fast, those 200 mil steps take a minute or less, right? And then you don't have to care. Like 200 million steps, we have run experiments for 1 trillion steps before. That's a thing we can do on one machine as well. You'll notice that I'm doing this work here on Breakout. Not all work can be done on Breakout because Breakout's a very simple task, but because this is specifically looking at like learning dynamics, I have this task that I can train in under 2 seconds, or I can really crank up this slow ablation and it's still under a minute. That's pretty cool. Couldn't get your... Eh? What type of model do you need? We solved some pretty hard problems with, like, our Mingru Arch is really good. It's possible you need a custom encoder for some tasks, but those can be made very fast. Also, our multi-GPU just works. I just have to keep this thing on track. And, not let it make any decisions about things. Because, yeah, I need to make sure I'm keeping full track of everything. Do I really want to allow... transformer on my ResNet? That seems pretty nuts. Yeah, I just don't believe that you need that heavy of a network, frankly. It might be annoying. We've seen problems where it's annoying to get anything without a couple cons. But yeah, I don't believe that you just can't learn anything without having a giant ResNet. I believe that the defaults are super tuned to this bloated ResNet, sure. But that's about it. NetHack has no overlapping cons. I definitely need to look at your architecture for that, Finn. Also, awesome result. Like, awesome work on that result. Yeah, man, I honestly think that it's just you were kind of getting memed on by the score approach. Like, if everybody decides to optimize a stupid metric and you're a PhD student, you kind of just have to optimize the stupid metric. But if you're not a PhD student, you can just tell people that that's a dumb metric and pick the one that makes sense. So what we're doing here, we now have a clip frac based correction that is calculated separately based on policy and gradient clipping, applied to a very simplified optimizer, which I think is just SGD with Nesterov momentum. And the goal is to understand precisely how the current clipping fails to stabilize updates if you keep applying them. We'll see. I figured I'd do a couple hour stream maybe. And then I gotta get ready for I have business stuff to take care of tomorrow. Papers or academic research. They make it the direction they're going. That's actually a good question. Have there been things? Last 5, probably, yes. I'm trying to think, like, specifically what we use. Like, there's research I've used that isn't specifically RL that works for RL. Are there any ends we use? Some of Michael's stuff, right? I don't like the Jax everything. Like, the work itself is good. It's sort of held back by Jax being a shitty pain in the ass to work with and also not fast. So I'd say, like, a lot of Flare stuff. We have, actually, there's some stuff with NYU that we've been... It's not fully independent, but I really can't take much credit for it all, other than just we made their end fast. There's some algorithm stuff from them that's pretty good. But I would say that overall, like... Overall, I'm definitely most excited about the stuff that we're doing. And I don't really see any other viable path forward. Xinhua. Roof-based upper bound. You can try that. China actually has a fair bit of reasonable RL stuff. Especially like game RL stuff. There's actually quite a bit of it. Conditional action trees. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how old some of the stuff is, Arch. Like, Chris Bamford stuff back when he did RL was good. Obviously, Costa's stuff is really good. Actually, I think Clean Buzz within the last 5 years, which is the async architecture that we're now trying out for Puffer 5. Again, it's Jax, but, like, the actual algorithm is very nice. Oak is, like, not a well-defined thing. Like, I don't know what he's doing there. Hey, Glitzy. Pretty much, yeah. the clipping thing. Um, this is spinning for too long, but I'm doing like pretty precisely scoped stuff with this. I'm trying not to get too distracted. Um, I need to understand the mechanism by which we diverge with high sample reuse. Right? And if we... Hang on, it's possible that the default clip frac is too generous as well. It should work with a tightened clip frac, though, if this trust region makes any sense. So obvious. Is it, though? Like, I don't know. I heard Sutton speak in person last year at RLC, and it seemed like this really vague, hand-wavy thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's like, it just, for instance, it assumed also, oh yeah, you just need some model-based thing to fit in here somewhere. But like, model-based stuff doesn't fucking work. It's presented as if it does in the literature, but like, it doesn't actually work. It's just really shitty and slow. I think there's also this very heavy emphasis on sample efficiency that I think is just fairly likely to be a pipe dream. Wait, how much this hotfix worked? What'd you send me? Discord not work. The hell? I'll look into that, but thanks for the report. Why are you not using ChatGPT? Because if I were on Codex here, like, I wouldn't be streaming. I'd type this message and then I'd go leave to do something else with my life for the next 3 hours, and then I would come back and it would be wrong anyways. I know, because that's exactly what I did over the weekend. This is actually pretty bad how long this is taking as is. I don't know what it's doing. Where's the... expand thinking? Waiting for long ablation sweep. The hell? Replay ratios. That's really dumb. Puffer 5 is not released, but it is the current dev branch. I'm doing a little algo project on it. Sample efficient giving humans learned. Humans are not tabula rasa. Like, humans don't learn from scratch at all. Not remotely. These LMs do seem very smart. No, they don't. Not generally, at least. They do constantly, utterly stupid stuff all the time. You need composable learning. Starting from random weights for every new situation is bad. Yeah, but what if I can just train shit at like hundreds of millions of steps per second and I can simulate everything super well? Then why do I care? Like, okay, you're going to train a model on breakout and then it's going to like go create some materials in a molecular sim? No, there's no reusable information there whatsoever. Protein sweeps. Those runs finished. Let me take a second, look in a sec. Let's see. Let me finish this thought here. 5 epochs. Phase of priority sampling. Muon made the biggest difference. Prio sampling matters at short horizon segment. The biggest thing though is if you're just running standard old Majoko, is your training is too slow. You're running at meme speeds. RL doesn't work at meme speeds. Our architecture makes a big difference as well. MJ Warp GPU. I mean, Puffer would at least take your 50k up to 400k on 8 GPUs then, right? L40s are also just terrible GPUs. So maybe you can get 800k plus on 8x5090. But, like, you can't have a super slow env and then expect stuff to run on, like, a potato, right? We actually... Puffer uniquely does have RL that works on a potato, but the env can't be slow, right? Hey, Liberty. Value never clips. Tiny updates. Value is clipped. EPA2C. No, dude. That's like that's troll. It's very troll. With control task composable learning. Offended for the L40. Am I thinking of a different GPU, or aren't those the super old ones? Am I thinking of A40? No. Am I thinking of like something else? Simple policy optimization. If that's the paper I'm thinking of, I don't think it works, but I'll check it after. As I'm not going to get super derailed today because like I'm holding a lot of information in my head right now for this research, and if I forget anything, I'm going to screw it up. This is actually like I know this is still stupid grok in a loop, but like these are actually very narrowly scoped changes, and if I can just go through this correctly, you'll see that this is actually probably a very big deal. Here's what I'm going to do. Let me reiterate what I'm doing, and then it'll sort of be obvious why this is so potentially important, okay? We found a bad interaction between your standard optimizers and PPO that essentially breaks the clipping mechanism at high sample reuse, such that very high sample reuse breaks your policy and it doesn't just get clipped. So increasing like more samples equals policy catastrophically fails. This shifts your entire space of hyperparameters and clip coefficients and just makes everything feel very unstable and janky. I'm thinking that we can actually fix this at an algorithmic layer, at the algorithmic level, by introducing clipping terms into the momentum of the optimizer. If we can get this to work, it will mean that you can crank up sample reuse any amount that you want, and your training will remain stable. This would in turn make the entire range of clip hyperparameters much, much more consistent and predictable. And instead of having experiments like fail if your parameters are slightly off, they would just like take slightly longer or, you know, be slightly suboptimal in terms of samples or wall clock. You would not get the same hard failure behavior. So that's what we're going for right now. The optimizer momentum. See, it can't even run the experiments correctly as described. You have to be very careful. Just the best way I can describe this is that like everything will just feel less janky in general. I think it's going to be more stable configs, but that's not it. Like the space of configs is just going to be better behaved. You know? PPO ratio getting closer. Higher sampler reuse should push the ratio farther away from 1. But what we're seeing is it's a bit different. Sampler reuse is less on policy is bad. It is. But like even off policy is bad, like it's not a difference in that, it's a difference in how you handle the degradation, right? I bet it fucked this up. Hang on. No, it didn't. You do not handle degradation. Stay on policy. Yeah, but like, okay, so the issue with this, right, is you're off policy after literally the first mini batch. Okay? And then some M's are going to be slower or faster than others. So with async training, you're actually, with the new async mode, you are incentivized to keep spinning the GPU for as long as it takes you to get new data, even if it's very fast, because the training is also very fast. But the issue, right, is that like even at like RR2 or something, you can already be incurring significant off policy drift, and the mechanism by which that gets incorporated is very janky, and it's fundamentally broken for PPO. It has to do with the momentum term of the optimizer. Dude, A2C does not work. I don't know what to tell you. Like, go ahead, go try that. Replace Puffer's PPO with A2C, go resweep, it won't work. Like, I've run experiments like this before. Even with very low sample reuse, you still need the clipping factor. Stuff blows up. You're less reliant on the clipping factor than you are in like a 4x sample reuse setting, but you're still reliant on it. Like, you have to keep in mind that almost every possible question you ask, like, I actually have run tons of experiments on because our setup is so fast, right? Like, that among many other versions I've tested. Our scheduler. LR scheduler alone does not fix it. It's not the learning rate. Learning rate is actually already fine. Even the accumulation of momentum looks fine. It's kind of like there's something pretty similar to an exponentially decaying average on momentum within each epoch that's bad. And then there's also a separate application step that is bad as well. It's not quite LR schedule. It's a bit different. Momentum schedule, I guess, but it's not a scheduler in the sense that it shouldn't be just based on the iteration index. I believe TRPO has the same problem, Jess. Like, this is not an issue with the calculation of the region. It is a bad interaction with the optimizer. Dude, why is this thing still running? Yeah, reinforce also, like, Giga does not work. Like, the thing that actually makes RL work, it's the clip term and then generalized advantage estimation. Like, those are the things that make RL work. It does not work without them. Woman missed this twice. I could be wrong on TRPO, Jess. I'd have to recheck, but I'm pretty damn sure. Like, PPO is just like, oh, TRPO, but actually we can make it way simpler and it does the same thing. No, I've been thinking about this a lot, though. I literally had a dream last night that I just happened to walk by Schulman and I asked him about this, and he's like, oh yeah, that seems like it probably needs to be fixed. Natural gradient optimizer. In that case, then it's fine, but it doesn't, like, PPO just used Atom, and there's clearly an issue there. The first mini batch, again, you don't, like, use PPO, but only the first mini batch. Like, Meister, you need to go reread the paper. The first mini batch of PPO, the entire clipping term cancels to 1, unless you're doing async training. I only chatted with him a few times at OpenAI. He seemed chill. He was definitely way more on algo side, where I was spending a lot more time thinking about environments and Eng to support all the stuff. Slide A2C, you did notice. Of course I noticed, dude. I built Pufferlib. I still think that's not... Does A2C original have GAE in it? I didn't think it did. You still do get GAE. The GAE term doesn't cancel. He likes physics? No, I don't know. Maybe, probably. I have no idea what the hell Grok is doing here. Thing's retarded. Oh, it does have GAE does have A2C. I'm telling you, you still need the clip coefficient. Even if you do one epoch over the data, you're literally doing like batch gradient descent otherwise. Dude, I don't know what the hell's up with that. To be fair, like the guy was nice and has done some reasonable work before, but I just don't believe that that thing makes any damn sense. Like there's just no way. Like, okay, I'll agree that like A2C is very clean in the sense of if you want to do something simple, like and do it well, that might be better than doing something more complex and doing it incorrectly. But you really, really weaken the algorithm. What am I learning? Uh, oh wait, hang on, I missed some messages. Do shuffle mini batches. It's sampled probabilistically already, so we don't like we go over it based on advantage or whatnot, and if you set that to 0, the result would just be random sampling. So yes, stupid bots. Um, we are currently working on we're ablating the effects of off-policy drift on PPO, and we're trying to come up with a specific optimizer fix. But at the time being, I'm mostly just trying to understand exactly how and where the current thing fails. Yeah. Let me use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. All right. Is there a chance to get the same sample? Yes. It's sampling with replacement. I don't think that's a problem. Voice to text. I don't think these models are good enough for that. I think that there's still significant advantage to me just being very precise about what I say, and I can do that much more effectively by typing. Eventually, longer term, probably yes. Yeah, the models can barely follow instructions correctly, even for narrowly scoped tasks when they are well described. I'm for something like this, I would not want to try this. Like, I think that it would literally be faster for me to try do everything fully manually than to try to get it with this if I were gonna do it that way. It's kind of funny, the discrepancy. Like, we're at the point in my mind where the models are still incredibly stupid in a number of very, like, bad ways. They're definitely useful, but they're incredibly stupid. Okay, we're making some progress here. This is nuts. Stuff work. I guess they're kind of just building assuming the models will get better. Google's always been cooked, though. They win by virtue of being really big and having some good people there because they're really big. Hey, Spirit. Ugh. I wonder if if we can solve without momentum entirely. I think that's the next thing. This approach is a very annoying one. This is a very thorough thing where we kind of just like break the problem down to the simplest case and then try to build it back up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it ends up being difficult. Hmm. Really? This is not my interpretation at all. Did it work? I don't see what you did. Not done yet, Ethan. Still lots of experiments to run. So, like, the path here, all right, like, this is the path, if I can, like, sort of show this, right? So, like, PPO clips, why does high sample reuse collapse Paul instead of getting clipped? Add a bunch of tracking. Looks like it is in Muon. Momentum. Both don't with data size and increasing policy-ness. Remove fog. Test flip rack. Realize you need bow all clip lay hold still mixed trying to remove momentum still solve rank down clip racks up RR. Oops. We are here. There. That's it. What projects would you suggest doing to learn RL? We have an article on that. If you check on my X account, there is like a ultra opinionated guide to RL, and it kind of just walks you through the process of learning and what projects we'd recommend, like the types of projects we'd recommend. And lots of people have done this and learned quite a bit of RL and have become productive contributors as well, even to Puffer. Welcome to the channel. Wait, what the hell? Use dictation? No. 231N right now? 231N is pretty good. I don't know how the curriculum has changed. I think I linked early versions of the course, so I don't know if it's better or worse now than it used to be. Oh yeah, also star the puffer on GitHub. That helps us a lot. It's free. Three to 4 hours of reading per weekday. Um, I mean, you mostly have to do a lot of research. Like 20% of your time still needs to be on formal learning. You read some papers, right? You go through some obvious background material. But most of it needs to just be doing actual research. Like the reality of it is most PhDs, like before you start your PhD, most people have already done a couple years of full-time research. At least most good ones. I basically spent half of my time throughout my entire undergrad just doing research. Like, so there you go, right? Definitely you can get pretty good, like quicker than that with some good mentorship and, if you're smart, but it is tough. I sort of explained a lot of like how I think about research to Spencer earlier today. It's a lot, honestly. It's like a very peculiar it's a peculiar skill set. You kind of need to like be hanging on to a lot of different threads and knowing when they conflict and how you weight them. Hang on. We need momentum. Let me look at the earlier thing. I'm actually not organized at all is the funny thing in many ways. Like if anything, the only thing that is organized are the only thing organized is my thoughts in my life. My thoughts are very organized. 3%. Wait. Ah. We're measuring clip frac wrong then. I think what that tells us. Hang on. Hmm. I'll play with this. This one fails. It seems. I'm calling this a fail. This is super annoying. Let's just give me my full line. Okay, this was supposed to be 64, not 164. There we go. Is there a way to measure There's not a way to measure drift between two policies that isn't just on the current samples, right? Like, I guess the overall thing would be KL. Let me see if this works. It doesn't. Okay, so you can't compensate fully. The fraction is pretty low. Oh, but it's going to vary over the batch. We have to be very precise here, don't we? Very precise. That's what I'm thinking. But, like, just how, right? So, Kale on what? 3 minutes behind? Yeah, that'll do it. I have to think. So what if we just let's just completely discard clip coef, right? Because like very clearly, clip coef alone does not give us a stable range for updates. It's not effective as a trust region at all. Speaking of, like, what do we get for TRPO? Let's go look at. Ugh, do I really want to go look at TRPO math? Jesus Christ, do I really want to look at this thing? Okay, what if I skip the derivation here? I always ignored this paper because PPO just worked. And now I get bitten for it. Wait, what? Is this a weight space constraint? No, that's prior work. No, I need to go through the counters to make sure I'm not missing anything, Jess. It doesn't mean we're returning to TRPO. I just need to make sure I'm not missing anything and being stupid. Data collected. Monotonic improvement guarantees. Yeah, I know that this is a common technique. Man, I never bothered with this thing because the empirical results were about the same. We don't want conjugate gradient plus line search. I saw conjugate gradient like once in my undergrad, fucking 9 years ago or something, man. Yeah, we'll keep it PPO, but it stands for Puffer Policy Optimization. Puffer speed running. What can I do? Reward. Uh, I think we had the stable version is whatever Finn just PR'd in the last like month and a half. He fixed a bunch of stuff. If you're just seeing stuff crash, you're probably on a version that still has like bugs on continuous action spaces. Because that was like a pretty recent fix. I think so, Glitzy. I'm not sure. Using Fin system. It's my own sim, and basically, how can I not care about time to get the... Not care as much about... So time to get the reward is implicit. Um, the extent to which the agent wants to get the reward quickly is embedded in the gamma term of generalized advantage estimation. So provided you do have the continuous fixes, that's basically it. We've done several control problems. Puffer should be able to smash those. I will say, though, like, Finn did a lot of work on tuning the drone sim to be really good. So I would mostly just look at that. Like, have you seen the latest version of this thing? Like, look at this. This is just ridiculous. All right, look. Drone racing. Okay. But then the same policy. Sphere formation. Same policy. Cube. Same policy. A marca. Hover at location. Back to racing. Same policy. Mm-hmm. How long's policy training take for drone? I don't know. Ask him. I think it's quick. $400 mil. So depending on how fast this is, probably a few minutes. Maybe less. Are you emotionally in good shape right now? Yeah, those aren't like things I consider, my guy. It's like, if work is going well, I'm normally just doing well. If work is not going well, I'm normally annoyed. Face is saying something. Well, it's saying I have a whole bunch of things in my head that I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Rock. Honestly, I'm really happy with this model. This is the only thing that does not make my job absolutely miserable. Like, Well, I mean, compared to the other models, right? It's not miserable with no model. It's actually pretty chill. It's just I would be doing slightly different work. The reason is it's fast. Like, that's literally just the reason. If model has to spin for an hour every single time I do something minor, it's worthless. That's simple. 5.6 Soul, awful model. Awful, awful model. Spins for 3 hours, reward hacks your thing with some obvious dumb. It's just not smart. Like, none of the models are smart, so if the model's not going to be smart, I want it to at least fail quickly so I can fix it. Ooh, okay. 8 seconds, right? Here's where we need the momentum correction, right? Kimmy, I've not tried Kimmy. We could try DeepSeek. I could potentially try. Does anybody have one of the charts that shows like the model? Because I definitely wouldn't want to get something that's significantly dumber than this model to make it faster. I think like the quality of this model but faster is about like I've tried like the really fast models and they're cool, but they're just really, really dumb. Like at the point where you lose the ability to follow basic instructions after a step or two, it's just no longer useful. Give me slow, it's not worth it then. Same intelligence, is it? Rock 54. Oh, that's pretty close actually. That's pretty close. So it's a slightly worse model. 59 token. Are these token per second serving numbers accurate? No, dude, these are not accurate. There's no way. Because this thing is literally like 10x slower, so I don't trust these numbers. Yeah, I don't trust these numbers at all. Well, then they're like, I don't understand then why people haven't figured out the right metric to report then. They should simply report, if they're going to report their score on the task, then they should report their score on the task, right? And then the time in seconds it took to solve the time in seconds the benchmark took. Mm, mm, mm. I don't know. It's very obvious if you like use these and are not an idiot. Like, okay, maybe the models are very smart in some narrow ways, but like they're also incredibly stupid in some pretty broad ways. Hmm. Okay, so interesting. Meta's model is 150. I mean, how long is it? If it solves stuff fast, yay. I need a quick break. I'm gonna use the restroom, grab a drink, and we'll continue. Brother Puffer. All right. I understand a little bit. I understand a little bit, I think. So the problem is you can't just set a KL target because the meaning of that changes over training. That actually kills TRPO as well, doesn't it? Hmm. That's bad. Wait, huh? I see. So you already have. Okay, so the KL target is actually reasonable. This is me just being dumb. I'll admit that. Because it's logs. Okay, yeah, that's actually fine then. KL's what you want. So. This isn't effective either. So weird. Find that KL early stopping. This doesn't seem to work either. Too big already. Hard kill with a controller. Do you need an adaptive KL target? I just checked that. I thought that KL is supposed to be adaptive. The beta you change? What beta? Oh, this can also still be momentum, right? A lot of variables. Did you have a way of doing that that was, like, principled, or were you just annealing it over training? Neural MMO? You can go play it online. Watch our agents play it. It's a massively multi-agent game. You only have it deployed with like 4 agents, but if you play the local version, there'll be 1,000. If I just open this thing up and I just tap control once, now I can play it. Why is it all super laggy? That's awful. I gotta fix the perf on this. This did not used to be like this, so something changed. Not that bad. But yeah, you can like fight enemies. This guy's a bow. You probably don't want to get in line with him. You can hit space to attack. You don't have a weapon yet, so you need to get a weapon. Typically, you kill... This guy's going to shoot me. Typically, you get a weapon by killing a low-level enemy. They'll drop a tool. Use the tool to harvest some resources. Like this level 1 I'd want to kill here, but I can't get to him because the other guys will kill me in the way. And you can actually, if you just hit control again, the agent will take over and will attempt to play. So I don't think there's much way to win with the way I've set it up here. Do you program this? Yeah. This was before language models could do anything. It took me, I don't know, 2-3 months of work. It's all open source. It's one big file. It's like 3K lines or something. A good chunk of it is the rendering. It runs pretty fast. You can get this thing up to like 1,000,000 steps a second, 1.5 million steps a second per CPU core. It's pretty good. No, this was actually a follow-up to my PhD thesis. I did this right after I graduated. Like, okay, what if I just redid my PhD project, but I made it better by doing actual good engineering this time with all the stuff I know now? No. Vision Lab at 16. I worked really hard learning this stuff when I was younger, man. I had like, at least 80 to 90 hours worth of other stuff to do per week, and I still put in like 20 hours a week learning this stuff before my internship. And then I found the research I've always found harder to put in really good hours on, but I still put in like 70. Same way as everybody trains. You read papers, you try to do stuff. Okay. An RLHF. 3 approaches for adaptive KL. Okay. Thank you. Wait, I think this works, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Almost works. Clipping too much data, maybe? Oh, hang on. This could be... This could be the momentum thing. But surely this is stable, right? Hang on. Wait, if I just do this, we're good, right? Yeah, okay. Dang, this is not stable either. That's crazy. Oh, it's just super slow. Not able to understand. I have guides. I publish lots of educational content on X. Or at least I have. Interesting. Too many problems in this. I'm trying to think what the best metric is. It would be importance, wouldn't it? Hang on. Let's try something. Again, that's a shitty heuristic, Ethan. Like, do you see what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to figure out, like, how do we know when we're messing up the policy too much? I think it's gotta be important sampling, right? Possibly this gives us something too conservative. You know? Mm, that's not potato potato, is it? You check how policy drifts over the entire segment. That's kind of a meme. Expected expectation of the log of important sampling. Wait. Hang on, I think you're right. Is this... Is it really noisy, though? So I guess we'll see if we can crank this up or not. Doesn't look like this works either. So actually, hang on. We're conflating this with the momentum update, aren't we? We are conflating this with momentum update. This is why this type of work I shouldn't do for too many hours, or I start making bad mistakes. So let me think about this. We have a few different methods for determining how far policy shifts. We already have that E10. We are like that exact thing. Like read the puffer blog. I'm going to make this thing work. That's funny. Oh, I like this. Yeah, I like this. Good specialized robot. Eh? Oh, coding agent crap. Okay. It's a conflict. It's not huge, though, is it? Not massive. No one is interested in mentoring anybody. We've literally trained dozens of people in RL. It's just jump in discord.gg/puffer and use all the materials. I'm not even shilling, it's all free. Like, Spencer came in without RL experience. He's crushing professional projects. We've got lots of people that are doing, like, really impressive RL work. Finn, to my knowledge, didn't have any RL experience. He is, like, interning with us this summer, and he is just completely sodaing everything. I mean, that doesn't mean it's easy, right? It takes a lot of work and stuff, but it is doable. Some of us doing mediocre RL work. You got some good stuff, Convert. At least the stuff that you don't just fully let Codex do. Or whatever. I think I might just be really stupid, huh? Make sure it's close to PR worthy. I will hold you to that, Convert. Alright, here's the promise, right? The next time I do a batch of Env reviews, you tell me which one you want me to review first. Um, If I can, just by like looking at it for a few minutes and having Grok run like a few passes of Joseph's stupid refactor algorithm, if I can cut off like more than a third of the code was bad. I think that's gonna be the standard. And I'm gonna have fun doing that on a bunch of PRs. Maybe 10%. I will hold you to that. If I can only cut off 10% of your code, it's generally pretty good. No. The tests don't count. We only count source in the PRs. So don't worry about that. I'm not going to just be a dick for the sake of being a dick. I'm only going to be a dick if it's productive to be a dick. All right? Like, as in you submit code that I cut half off of and it still works the same. And the BS things I want to work on Puffer. Yeah. More Puffer. We definitely need people, like, we need good people on Puffer. Oh, I'll show you the skill file real quick. It's called skillissues.md. It's one screen. Here's your preview of it. It's really dumb. But I just wrote down how I refactor code. Oops, let's not delete it. This is basically how I refactor code. I don't know if this is pushed. It will be if it isn't. Oh, but wait. If you're gonna... No. If you're just going to run the skill file for me, cut off, like, you know, a third of the code and say, like, see, it's good. Then you're not gonna learn things. No, man. You can do that after I've at least, like, reviewed one of your and showed you, like, most likely showed you that the code was very bloated. But you need to, like, appreciate... I think in order to learn, people need to at least see one time that they take something that they think is really compact, and then I just cut half of it off. Ask Litzy. Semi-truck code? 90% bloat? Don't suffer, higher puffer. It's leaked. I mean, you guys can do it if you want, but, like, the reason I tell you not to is it's an educational thing, right? Like, if you want to learn from the thing, then I would encourage you to figure out how well you can tighten your code. It's really good to see, like, I think it's really good for people to see a big disparity between the thing that they think is compact and what's actually compact. Yeah. Get results out of LLMs. Not learning C. Well, I mean, you should just learn C. Like, the reason you can't get good results out of LLMs, it's typically, well, one, they're very stupid, but then, like, if they're very stupid, somebody has to be smart for the result to be good. How to max citations in RL? Sure, do the shiniest thing possible, regardless of whether it works or not, or makes any fucking sense. Um, ablate a thing into existence until you get one incredibly brittle result, and then claim you've solved everything. Hmm. Rock Control V. The clipboard's a little dicey. College student in RL. I mean, I have entire educational stuff for you, man. Like, if you just go to my articles tab, they're my two highest rated articles. Here's my advice for programming in ML. Here's my advice for RL. Now that is so weird, dude. Uh, within epoch, 1.5. Is that consistent? Yeah, 0.15. That is consistent. Okay, at least the value grad, that doesn't make sense, right? At least the value grad doesn't make sense. The value grad has... I'll be right back. Let me use the restroom, and we will continue a little bit. Just a little bit more, though. Oh, and actually, let me just check one thing. No messages. Good. Be right back. All clueless. Hang on, I'll explain. All right. Heh. LM copy a lot of similar style. I mean, they're trained on that garbage, right? Not that surprising. Okay, so we've gone through lots of different clip versions, lots of different momentum things. I don't know, it's probably like just trained on a lot of big tech bullshit. Mhm. This is odd. ERPO? Yeah, they're two different things that link together. Hang on, let me check let me check one thing here. Dinner in 15. So let's just like make sure I actually finish this. Thrashes. Interesting. Fixed batch of data. It's still janky, isn't it? What is the correction that we would want here? I'm trying to think what the correction would be. Number of times samples used? No, that's not it. That's not it. It's just the gradient magnitude. It's not my emote. I don't know what that is. What is that? Do we correct based on... What would you want to do? J Suarez 2 GG. That Twitch must have done that. It's probably placeholder. I'm trying to figure this out. Buffer emote then. That's actually useful, convert. Yeah, crit, I can upload those at some point. Actually useful is crazy. I mean, it's a high bar. Like short self-play Ms, or like decently short self-play Ms with good perf are useful. Yeah. Good one, Jess. I definitely need to do more strength work. Been a little lazy this summer, but I am super lean. Lights out into job application for a startup. That's cool. Alright, figured out the CUDA mini batch thing, yay. Thing I'm doing makes sense. I think it does. It's a pure momentum change, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, that's why Muon would hide it, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. I'm gaining some insight on this problem at the very least. I do think I'm gonna call it in a second here. Stream schedule looking like I have a big meeting tomorrow, and then we'll see how I'm feeling after that. I'm trying to think how this should be scaled. I think this is just the type of thing where I'm gonna have to do some quiet work off stream, like going through Muon, going through a couple different optimizer formulations. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna call it for today. Thank you, folks. Thank you for tuning in. If you are new around here, please star the puffer on GitHub. It really does help me out a lot, and it is free. A few people watching still on Twitch as well. That's nice. Um, this is expected to be kind of tricky. Otherwise, somebody would have figured it out by now. But I'm hoping this makes a